Hi, everybody. Welcome to the program. You know that old expression, you can't tell a book by its cover. Well, I have a new one. You can't tell a man by his mustache. Meet 5 fashion-conscious fellas. As you can see, these guys are hip to the latest masculine trends in suits and ties and slacks and shirts. But guess what? These gentlemen are no gentlemen. They're ladies. I know that. You knew that. You didn't know that. I didn't know that. They're women who, like Madonna right now, often favor dressing as men. Now, more than that, some of our guests actually live as men much of their time in their private lives. Now, some even get away with it, fooling those who don't know them better. Meet Ilsa, for example. Now, Ilsa, on your left, has been dressing in men's clothing since high school. Why, Ilsa?
I perceive it as a rebellious act against convention, not to be hostile, but just to point to the idea that clothing that has been sexed as male or female doesn't necessarily need to be worn by, or men and women don't necessarily need to be male or female, so that I don't do this all of the time. I do it some of the time, and I guess for me, it's just rebellious and kind of enjoyable. So
it's not a fashion statement, it's more a political statement.
It's both.
May I ask your sexual preference? Does that have anything to do with this?
No, because I think that I started doing this before, if you mean in terms of like sexuality and who I sleep with, that I was undecided at the time when I started wearing suits, and then later I made up my mind, but they are not connected.
And your decision was?
To wear suits or to sleep with women. Yeah,
to wear suits and sleep with women, I guess. All right. Our next guest, Stafford, joined the Army. So Stafford could wear uniforms. Is that really why?
Yeah. Well, I actually, the first time I cross-dressed, I was 4 years old, and I hid in the closet with the Bride and Groom magazine. And I remember thinking that the men were so lucky because they had all these suits, and I got my brother's tie, and I practiced being the groom. And then later on, it was just something that I always wore, boys' clothes.
Can you stand a second? There's no way you knew that was a woman, is there?
No, actually, I didn't know.
You were totally fooled, right?
Yes, I was.
Now, Stafford, is that good? I mean, that make you
That's
feel
fine
good?
with me, yeah.
But you'll take it either way?
It really doesn't concern me what other people think. It's who I am. I don't usually wear a mustache, and I still pass. I generally pass.
Well, I agree with you. I was, totally shocked. Not shocked. Frances is married. Frances, under that hat, has been married for 20 years, and she has been wearing men's clothing for, what, half that time?
Yeah, off and on. I've been doing this, as you see me, for about 3 or 4 years, a little bit longer than that, probably privately in the closet. I do this for yet a different reason. I always felt like I was two, or the two sides of a whole, and that's what part of this cross-dressing is for me. It's the other side of the coin, which makes me feel more whole, more balanced. I live my life as a feminine-looking woman with makeup and dresses part of the time. Sometimes when I go to work, I wear a suit, but not the mustache. Ever since I was very little, I felt like a feminine girl, and I also was a tomboy. So I'd climb trees, and then I'd go back home after riding a horse or climbing a tree and put my little dress back on. And I think it's part social also, because I was rewarded for looking pretty and feminine, with my father and later with boys. At the same time, I felt like I was denying part of who I really was. And I've always admired movie stars and people from the 30s, and I just like that look.
Like Marlene Dietrich, you mean?
Sure, but men too, like Clark Gable.
Did Clark Gable ever cross-dress?
I don't think so. What I was trying to do was emulate the men or the masculine look that I like and incorporate it into myself part of the time so that I can be a balanced person. So I only do this part of the time.
And what, I have to ask, does your husband say?
He likes it. He cross-dresses also. And we sometimes go...
Man, I hope they have big closets in that house. That's, you got 2 for each. That's incredible. Do you ever share clothes? Is that your husband's suit you have on?
No, we're different sizes, unfortunately.
Now, Val says that she doesn't cross-dress to be a man or like a man. You do it Why then, Val?
I don't consider it cross-dressing. It's just the way I dress.
Is it a fashion statement then?
I'm definitely fashionable, I think. But it's taken me all my life to...
Stand, please. Stand. Yeah, come on. There's no way you knew Val was a woman.
She didn't have. I thought she had feminine features, so I don't know. All of them up there looked kind of feminine. Yeah, even from the beginning, I said they all look kind of feminine up there, so I had an idea.
Now, looking feminine, is that bad or good, Val, or neutral?
No, well, I get sir more often than not. However, it doesn't bother me. I mean, after all, sir is far more empowering than ma'am. You know?
Is Bobby there? Bobby Merce, our security guy? Where's Bobby? Come on here. Now, this is Bobby, my head of the crack security force. Now, tell me what happened just before the show started.
I saw Dee walking down the hallway going into the ladies' room, and I said, "That's the ladies' room, sir." She said, "I am a lady."
Dee, do you customarily get that? I mean, is that
Yeah, all
cool
the
or is that
time.
bad
Yeah.
news? Or?
No, it doesn't bother me. I mean, because I've been doing this since I was ever I can remember. You know, it's never been a conscious decision. I never woke up and said, I want, you know, it's just something I've always felt comfortable in. If my mother put me in a dress when I was a little girl, I felt like a drag queen or something. You know, I just stood stiff my first year of school, there was a dress code where you had to wear dresses. And I must have willed that thing away because halfway through the school year, that they dropped that code throughout the country.
And then what did you start
I wore
wearing?
little boys' clothes. I have a picture of myself in a suit and tie when I'm 5 years old. And it's like, it's always been society's reaction to me. And when that started happening, then I thought, wow, this is great. Gender treachery. What shock value, you know?
Gender treachery.
Yeah.
Wow, you should write a book. That's a great title.
Yeah.
So, do you think you always wanted to be a man?
No, it's not a sexual thing at all. I mean, I never
isn't?
consider having a sex change. You know, I'm very happy with my body, very happy, and so are a lot of other people. So.
Are you gay?
Yes.
Are you all? Is that except Francis? I don't know.
Suits don't make the man anyway. Man.
That's right.
What'd you say, Val?
What's underneath?
Clothes don't make the man anyway.
Clothes don't make the man. I couldn't have said it better. Now, Val, didn't you have, on your job, what do you do for a living, may I ask?
I work at a post-production house in Midtown called RVI. I'm a secretary.
A secretary.
Yeah.
Now, on your job, obviously, they know that you're a woman.
This particular job now, yes, they do. But the last one I had, they didn't. For about an entire year, in fact. And it wasn't intentional. It's just
Well, the good
really
news is you weren't sexually harassed, I guess.
Yes, by female coworkers.
You were.
Ironically so.
Is Honest Engine, really?
Yeah, well, no, I'm just joshing, really. But wishful thinking, I guess. No.
Wishful thinking. I
Yeah,
get it, all right.
but this job, actually, they're very good to me. They're more interested in my capabilities and my, my quality of work.
On
my
the
social
present,
calendar,
on your president.
too, more than anything. Yeah, my present job. More than anything else,
So it doesn't get in the way?
Not at all.
Do you go
No.
to work always with a coat and tie?
I go everywhere. I mean, I've always looked like this all my life.
When was the last time you wore a dress?
I think 4th grade. I had this teacher that was always looking at me like this, like telling me to close my legs. And I decided, if I'm going to change anything at all, I'm going to change what I'm wearing, not the way I sit. So that's why that was that.
So may I ask what you think of our panel of...
Well, I think that what you're doing is fine, but I don't think that it's like the man on the end said. Ilsa, sorry.
Woman on the end.
I'll tell you what, y'all fooled me. Y'all fooled me, but I don't think it's just a social thing. I think that you want to do this. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
because,
definitely-
like what you had said was that you did this to try and make a point, or that I
makes
can
me
be
happy.
a man. But you can do this just because you want to do it.
Exactly.
Right.
Isn't that
Now
great? That's America.
That's
yeah.
more acceptable to me than to try to push it off as it's a gender thing, or that a man is much more accepted. The way I understood you was to say that I would be more accepted in society.
Well, I never even used any of those words, and I
know
didn't
you
say
didn't.
that. Well, no, because then that's very interesting that you would interpret it in that fashion. Because in fact, okay, that's fine. The way I see it is not so much that, like, for me, if I dress like this or if I dress in any other way, I don't personally feel any better as a person. It's just for me that if I go down the street, and in fact, if I go down the street like this, I'm for sure going to be called sir. There's just like no two ways about it.
But is that
okay?
good?
In fact, when I was called up today, it was like sir, and I was like, yes. I mean, what can you do about it? But for me, I'm merely saying that I chose to do this as something that I liked, something that I desired. But it also does take on that other quality, because you can't say that, oh, it's just something I like, and it's not that. It's both of the things. And in no way do I want to be a man. Do I want to have a sex change? That is not like anything. So
Let me just ask some of the ladies in the front row now. Is this okay? Is this okay?
I can understand it. But are any of them mothers? Are any of these mothers?
Frances, are you a mom?
No.
So
That's by choice.
Yes,
but I wanted to say, too.
Are you?
No, but I'd love to be a mother.
I'd like
I
to be a
wouldn't
mom,
want to
too.
have a kid, but I'm great with kids, and my nephews and nieces love me.
I want to be an aunt.
I've never met a child that didn't love me.
No, I want to be an aunt.
She wants to be an aunt.
That would make me happy.
Now, what if one of these were your children or grandchildren? How would you respond?
Understand, because I don't want to say it on the air. I can understand their feelings.
Say it on the
Because
air.
as a child, I was that way.
You used to be a tomboy?
Tomboy to here.
Really?
Yes.
I read in our expert's book that Ernest Hemingway was dressed up as a little girl when he was growing up, so that's very interesting. Now, the relationship Frances has with her husband, that's a very intriguing question for me. Ilsa and other women, does one dress as a female, the other a male? Is cross-dressing part of your sexuality, or is it something that is, as you mentioned, some kind of almost political statement? Stafford, what was it like in the Army? Do you miss the uniform? What about the rules against homosexuality, et cetera, et cetera? Val, not just your working life, but how did your friends treat you as you grew? Dee, how is things behind that mustache? We often do on television, particularly my distinguished colleague Phil Donahue does a lot on the other side of the story. That's what you see most of, men dressing as women, husbands putting on their wives' bras, etc. This is one of the first times that I can recall that we've done the flip side, cross-dressing females, women in men's clothing. That is the focus of this edition of Geraldo.